Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Gaming Fuse, episode number 9. As a matter of fact, I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem in the room. Hello, chat. Hope you're having a great evening. A couple of things to get out of the way before I introduce our guest this week. It looks like Titan Drago is not going to be here. It really sucks that we couldn't have him. Something must have turned up, but kind of got a last minute um, message from Titan said that he wasn't going to be here, and it also looks like Mental 9R, who I was hoping was going to be back here this week, um, is still having some issues from his move into Edmonton and that area, and it looks like he won't be here either. So I am putting out the bat signal. If anybody here wants to join in and join us tonight, you're absolutely welcome. Just say in the chat that you'd like to join us, and I'll send you the link. I'll get maybe one or two in here, perhaps if you want. But in the meantime, we do have a phenomenal guest, long overdue, and certainly it's been a long time since he and I have podcasted together. We used to be podcast co-panel members on the Game Dosage podcast a few years back. You guys might know him as certainly a very vocal member of the community, but an awesome guy, certainly a big Titanfall lover, and one of the members of Retro Renegades, who you can catch tomorrow night on Graphic Gods channel, I do believe, and all that stuff, part of the Gamers United Guild. So without any further ado, I want to welcome my Mortal Kombat friend, my Killer Instinct brother from another mother. It is Jago Kuken.
What is going on? Chat panel, my brother Noof. But yes, it's been a long time. Too long actually, but I feel like I've pretty much kind of retired from podcasting at this point. It's been so long. All I really do is Retro Renegades. But yeah, it's been way too long. Good to get the invite. It's just tough for my schedule now. But yeah, it's good to be here. Sad that Titan and mental
Yeah,
ain't
I
here,
had
but
no idea. I certainly, I wasn't 100% sure with Mental, but I didn't know Titan was going to make it. I was not going to make it. I only got a message from him like, just an hour or two ago before the show. I was like, geez, like, thanks for the heads up, guys. It kind of sucks. Like I said, we'll miss him, but hey, we'll keep this show rolling, and it's good to have you, Jago. I know how you feel, man. Like, since I cut myself back to one podcast a week, it feels like I almost don't podcast anymore myself. But things have been pretty well. Here we are, 9 episodes in. Glad I could finally get you on. I was trying to get you here, I think, last week, but scheduling didn't allow for it. So I wanted to give you a bit more of a heads up. So here we are.
yeah, it's just tough now. It's just tough now, Noob. Yeah,
Hey
it's
man,
all good though.
life calls, man. I had to leave KY Bob's show on Thursday night because he's got a new job too, and I don't even know what he's doing with his Thursday night podcast, if he's going to keep it consistent or what. But in the meantime, I had to kind of leave there because of a change in his time, and I just can't make it. I can't. If you go earlier than 8 o'clock Eastern, I'm pooched. I can't even really make the 8 Eastern because that's 6 Mountain Time. I'm just getting off of work at 6, so to be asking my bosses to kind of let me go early 2 or 3 times a week so I can make a podcast is just probably not going to fly really well. But anyway, here we are.
No.
Let's say hello to the chat. We got some amazing people here. Of course, our brother that you certainly know all too well, Doggy Dog 420's in the building. We got Max City Entertainment. What has happened to Max City? We've also got Dre Venero. Your Wicked Hot is here. We got Nixie. We've got Black Card. Tip Top Dolt. We got Thimber in the building. What's going on? We got M. Gene is here in the building. Good to see you. We got RWK88 here as well. I think we've caught up with just about everybody. Again, welcome. And to all those catching us on the replay, thank you so much for your support. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button if you can. And like I said, the super chats are certainly appreciated, but not obviously not required. But if you're able to drop a super chat, we'll definitely do our best to read them out throughout the show and everything else. Like I said, we do our best to read lots of comments, but super chats hopefully guaranteed. And we do have our first super chat of the evening, courtesy of Doggy Dog 420. He comes in here. Go ahead, Jago, if you'd like to read this one. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, actually, shout out to Doggy Dog 420, my brother from Retro Renegades, $1.99 super chat. He says, cheers, Noof panel chat. Hit the like button.
All right, and we got some good news. I see my Canadian brother. He is here with us, a little bit late, but he's here. A little late, but always great. The one and only Mental 9R is in the building.
Hey, guys. Sorry I'm so late.
On too.
Hey, it works this time.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
good. Yeah, man, it's been quite a day and quite a last few days and quite a move and boy, managed to just kind of get ready here at the last second. So a few
Well, I
minutes
hope you
late,
can
but
unwind.
oh man, so much to do still, so much to do. And yeah, I could tell you just the nightmare that it was, but I won't bore you with the details.
Well, I'm sure it'll all come. All the pieces will fall in place eventually here. But we are glad that you could make it. Like I
Yeah.
said, especially after Titan Bound. So, oh boy, I hope he makes it tonight because it's going to be a short
Oh,
show. For a minute there, I didn't even think Jacob was going to make it. He literally came in at the 11th hour, as they say. So,
okay. Well,
I was like, I'm gonna have to do a solo show tonight. Catch up with the chat real quick. We got Fast back in the building. What's happening? We got our good brother Stinking Corpse is here. What's going on, Stinky? Good to see you. And yeah, Pulpy Teen is in the building. What's going on? Good to see you here as well. Yeah, sorry with the Canadian ladies football team getting eliminated by Australia. Yeah, pretty shocking. Canada, one of the worst finishes in a long time for the Canadian ladies. The last few years have been very, very dominant, but I don't know what happened this time. They obviously must have been drinking the funny juice or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, Spider-Man 356 is in the building. We know it's going to be a good show, and he is here. Casket Repair, what's happening, brother? Good to see you as well. It's been a long time. And let's roll into it. Guys, what have you been playing? Jago Kuken. Like I said, you've been a busy dude, but have you been able to drop down any gaming lately? Jago, and
oh, I
he's
think we
gone
just
for whatever
lost him.
happened. Yeah, we just
I think
lost
we
Jago.
just
So let's
lost
head over to you, Mike.
I guess that's me.
What have you been able to play? If you've been able to play anything at all, or I guess you've been playing like Tetris with your house kind of deal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been challenging to get too much playtime in, but I've done a little bit of what is it, Hogwarts Legacy. I've been still working on that. Uh, I downloaded Ratchet and Clank. I haven't had a chance to play it. I thought maybe I would have, but no. We got, besides getting moved in. What was it, 4 days late?
Yep.
Thanks to our wonderful moving company and all the other problems, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. But yeah, I'll keep working on my Hogwarts Legacy and throwing some Ratchet and Clank there as well on PC and see how that is.
So did you move into a good part of Edmonton? Are you on the south side, west side, east side, north side?
West side, in
Yep.
an area called Secord.
Yep.
So
Okay.
just kind of within the boundaries of Edmonton City, but yeah, it seems like a pretty good neighborhood so far. I met quite a few of the neighbors already. They all
Mm-hmm.
seem pretty friendly. My kids, or at least, well, especially my son's already made a bunch of friends in the neighborhood. So, yeah, it seems
Fantastic.
like it'll be a great place to be. We're happy to be here and just take another week or so to finally get settled. It's been crazy, man. Yeah, the move was an absolute nightmare, and the move in wasn't any better than the move out. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
thank
gonna.
God we don't do that too many times in life. Maybe this is your last one,
Uh,
so
well, maybe I'm
maybe.
getting up there. If I have to move again, it'll be too soon. So,
Right. Well, hopefully no moves for me anytime soon. But yeah, perhaps we may have to move this podcast to a different night and a different time potentially, but we'll see. Yeah,
yeah,
Titan is off tonight. Two pad stack. Just to let you know, yeah, he couldn't make it or something must have come up because it was a last minute departure. And Jago, of course, is in the chat, said he's got to reset his router, so hopefully he'll be back here momentarily. Good stuff. So, yeah, Spider-Man 356, by the way, he is Canadian. He is just a few hours north of us, I do believe, as you head toward Fort McMurray, if
oh,
I remember. So Spider-Man 356, been a long time supporter of my channel, so good to see him here as always. Surprised Timothy Dixon's not here as well. He's usually always in the chat most of the time, but hey, people can't be here all the time. As far as me, man, I've been playing a few different games here and there. I've been playing this one called Bramble. Absolutely amazing little indie over on Game Pass. Highly suggest you check it out. If you like Little Nightmares, and you kind of like it, kind of has a vibe between Little Nightmares, a little bit of Hellblade per se. And I say Hellblade not because it plays like Hellblade, but it does have sort of an atmosphere that feels a little like Hellblade at times. It's
okay,
got some amazingly memorable bosses and moments in the game, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not super long. I wouldn't say it's like super short. Like you can probably beat it in, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours potentially. So I guess yes, technically it is kind of short, but it doesn't feel as short as it is. It's just a really great game. Fantastic art design, level design. So really good. So I highly recommend you guys try that one out. And just the other night as well, got to beat another game. Got to beat Serious Sam, Siberian Mayhem. It's on Game Pass right now. And the surprising thing was, it's 4-player co-op, and it does offer a graphics mode and a performance mode. Both look and run pretty damn well either way. A little bit of slowdown and chug at times when there is a lot of enemies on screen, and I can't stress that enough. There are a lot of enemies on the screen in this game. It's chaotic, but it's amazing with 4 players, and it's a ton of fun. And I got to play that with Talos Ray. I got to play it with Cyber Gunter and my good friend Game Down Sights as well. So shout out to those guys for playing that game. So really good stuff, and looking forward to getting that back into some more Diablo 4. I know me and Talos Ray are going to try to play that. So lots of good stuff. Yeah, hopefully we'll get you back here soon. Jago, Sir X-Man is in the building. Sir X-Man, if you want I know you're always up for jumping onto a pod. So if you want a link, just let me know in the chat. All good, my friend. Fast back for the Next Level Gaming Podcast is in the building. Good to see you here. Bramble, a old German tale. Yeah, it could be. It's definitely German or Swedish or somehow. It's got that Norsey stuff to it. It's definitely like a foreign game. Really good game though. Really good game. So cool.
Right on.
Yeah, so let's jump into some topics. We've got a couple of light ones to start us off here. A couple perhaps you've been catching it up. First off, start with there is a potential rumor or an article going around suggesting that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is getting made, a remake. How do you feel about that,
Yeah.
Mental? Would you be up for something like that? Is this one of those long overdue remakes? Do you think they should leave well enough alone? How do you feel about it? And then I'll tell how I feel about it. Definitely a game that's certainly long in the tooth. It's, this could definitely justify more of a remake, since we, when you look at all the games that have come out, to build it on a new engine and stuff like that, and bring back one of the most beloved 360 RPGs of all time. I definitely think it has a place. But how do you feel about it?
Personally, Oblivion was a game that I probably spent 300 hours in back in the day. I did play it on PC. I installed probably at least a dozen mods and stuff to it as well to really improve the graphics and things in it, and I loved it. So if they could bring back a remake of it that looks better than what I played it as way back then, yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd totally get into it. I had a great time. I love those Oblivion gates that you'd go through and get into that, the blood red looking world there. I had a great time playing that game. I loved it. I think it's like you say, long overdue for a remake. Man, yeah, I'd get into that.
Would you make improvements to the game, or kind of leave it as is with a new coat of paint? Because one of the things with some of those games, they've always had sort of cheesy dialogue and stuff. But that would be, a lot of those games had a lot of dialogue and a lot of character stuff. So that is that too daunting of a task to go in and change some of that, do you think? Or would you do that? Because I think if I was doing it, I'd try to make it stay true to the content, but try to make it a little newer, maybe a little more up to date, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, redoing all the voice acting, that becomes quite a task, I think. I don't know. It depends what they're looking for out of it, right? If it's like one of the remakes like Resident Evil, yeah, go for it. I mean, like you say, the voice acting was a bit janky at times, I think. Some of the characters could use a little bit more personality and whatnot. So from my perspective, the more they want to revamp it and bring it into the 2020s, the better, I loved it. I would be right in there, man. Breaking out of jail again and going for it.
There you go. You got a question on the screen. I think you can answer that one.
Starfield. Oh yeah, it is the Starfield headset. If you can see it there, but yeah, it is.
It looks awesome.
My normal Astros that I would wear. I accidentally left them on when we moved out 5 days ago, so they were stone dead when I tried to put them on today. So these ones happen to be charged, so that's why I'm wearing them. But and I'm not actually using this mic. I'm using my other mic, but I have it on just so I can hear my own voice in my headset, because these are somewhat noise canceling. They're not a full noise canceling set, but I don't want to be talking louder than I need to. The rest of the house doesn't need to hear me. But yeah, no, it's a nice set. I've never owned the new headset from Microsoft that they made for the Xbox, and I'm pretty impressed with them for the price. They're
For
a
the
decent
price, right?
headset.
They're pretty
Yeah,
phenomenal. They're comfortable. They got
yeah,
a lot of features. Of course, you can do all that stuff inside the dashboard where you can, tune the audio levels. The
yeah,
defaults are kind of all in the mid range at starts, a little bassy. But
yeah.
yeah, they're actually they're really good. I had the default set, just the standard black one, but I really enjoyed it. I did sell it a while back. I don't know why, but I want to get another one. So
New
yeah,
Phenomics.
new Phenomics, man. Speaking of, are you wearing a Starfield? No, you got an Atari shirt on, but is that
Yeah,
coincidental that you're like,
that's Atari.
okay, because the color of your headset is matching your chair and the logo on your shirt, at least on my screen. Like, is that?
Yeah, didn't do it on purpose. It's just one of those things that happened.
Well, that's pretty
But
wild that the color on my
yeah,
screen looks all matching, like your shirt, the chair, and the headset
it,
piece.
it's pretty close. Yeah, the chair is probably a little bit darker than the rest, but yeah, it's pretty darn close.
Okay.
Being
I
all
got a
color
question in the
coordinated
chat, and
today.
maybe you can answer this as well, and I'll certainly look at it. He says, Portal players in the chat says, Newt, do you think Xbox sales going down is doom and gloom for Xbox? No, because I think no matter what platform that you have, Portal, there's always highs and lows, and in every console sales generation or console year, there's times when the consoles just based on which games are out or what sales are going, we'll see a spike in sales, and then they kind of dip backwards. I mean, I think overall, Xbox is kind of up over where they were with the Xbox One in certain areas, but certainly not selling as well as PlayStation is selling. But even they say the PS5 at this point is kind of down a little bit compared to PS4. So, right now, honestly, I still see that there's more demand out there for the PlayStation, largely because I think, like, again, their catalog of games seems to be a little more polished, more sought after, whereas Xbox right now still has a ways to go in that department, and hopefully, if like if Starfield doesn't move the needle and we don't see sort of a explosion in sales from at least the Series S perspective, then I think I don't know if we're going to see um, anything big. Like, obviously, just making Game Pass is not going to be the solution. So it is going to be about marketing and making sure those big games are out there and they actually score big. You know what I mean? So. I don't know.
Yeah,
How do you feel about sales potentially being down for Xbox? Nothing to be concerned about, I'm guessing.
I don't think so. I mean, by this point, I think everyone realizes Xbox as a brand is more than just console sales. So, you know, I think I think that Microsoft got caught or Xbox got caught in a trap where they were really building out their cloud infrastructure. There's a lot of theories out there as to what's happened. Oh, they're losing money on Series X, so they quit making them and stuff. Honestly, I can't see how they're losing a penny on Series X. I follow the tech stuff pretty closely. It's still being made on 7 nanometer wafers. Those things are way less. They're probably half the price, or maybe less than half the price, is what they were when the system launched. At that time, they said, "Oh, we're losing about $100 per console." The NVMe drives, like the NAND on the NVMe drive, is
Mm-hmm.
worth about a third of what it was when they launched. Nothing in that console is more expensive today than when they launched. They have to be making money on it. I think they just started allocating way too much of their production line to xCloud to update everything to Series X level quality. And Phil, what was that now? Maybe a month ago, said you're going to start seeing more Series X consoles in stores, because for the longest time you couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah, they were
They were
tough.
they
They were
were
tough to
nowhere
come by.
yeah, they were nowhere to be seen, and it didn't make any sense. There was no shortages. I mean, supply issues are just non-existent these days. You can buy anything you want anywhere you want. So that the COVID excuse is long since over. I think they just got caught with their pants down and just quit allocating to store shelves. So of course your sales are going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not worried about it in the least. I mean, Xbox is in the strongest position it's been in years, especially with the ABK thing, settling in. You're going to see Xbox sales start to increase. They're going to have a point probably where they're going to sell as many as they can produce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it in the least.
So just coming back to the original conversation, which was about potential Oblivion remake getting made. Look, I'm all for it. A game that's potentially, like I've always said, I never had an issue with remakes, but I do think there has to be a standard. Like, I mean, the game needs to be probably at least over 10 years old, perhaps be, on the older gen of console, where the technology makes sense to remake it. But at the end of the day, no matter if it's 3 years old, 10 years old, it's your money, and if it's a game that appeals to you and you want to buy it 5 times, that's up to you. I mean, obviously, that's a testament of the kind of games that they are. If people want to spend a ton of money, and I can't really rag on those who would rebuy it, because I'd probably rebuy almost any Gears of War game that came out if it got remade, 4 or 5 times, because I love Gears to pieces. So, speaking of a guy I love to pieces, the man with that awesome voice and long time. First time in a long time he's going to be on this panel. Here he is, bringing him in. The man shows up like an MVP. Here he comes, Sir X-Man.
I am not an MVP.
You are to me.
Most valuable penis. You're right.
Oh! What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah.
But the other stuff is a long story that I'll talk to you in private. How you doing, buddy?
Catch up, man. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, we'll talk after this show.
Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. We're good to have you on. Hopefully you can weigh in. How about you, man? Would you be excited about an Oblivion remake? Did you even play the original?
I know a lot of people that love Oblivion, so they'd be happy for it.
Yeah, it was a really popular game. Like Mental said, a lot of people dumped a ton of hours. I mean, back then games were a little bit scarcer, and it was certainly one of the flagship titles for the 360. It's set itself apart, and and that sort of thing. And yeah, it was a great game. It was precursor and set things up really well for Skyrim, obviously. So.
Well, back then when Skyrim came out, at the time you didn't have games coming out game after game after game after game to take people away from a game. So people got more time to get more immersed in that game.
Exactly.
And they stayed with it. Now, that's the problem with today. You got games coming out, game after game after game after game. I'm like, when am I going to have time to finish the one that I was playing 3 years ago? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, the backlogs are real. I don't think there's anybody that I know that doesn't have a backlog that hasn't grown probably threefold in the last generation of consoles. It used to be big, but now it's getting ridiculous. Thank God for shorter games. Speaking of, that will be one of the conversations at the end of the show as we talk about length of games, where your preference is, as we know that the new Assassin's Creed Mirage is supposedly supposed to come in at about 25 hours, kind of a max out, like if you 100% at the game kind of deal should be around 25 hours. We'll talk about that later. Those will segue into that. But
because you already know my style of game. I've told you many times.
Yeah, you're very similar to a lot of the stuff that I like. But speaking of liking things, how about Square Enix sort of warming up to Xbox right now? We just saw recently a conference where Phil Spencer was with some of the lead devs from the Final Fantasy series, and they're finally bringing Final Fantasy 14 to the Xbox. It was shown off years ago. But it's finally coming over. Not 16, but 14, the online MMO. Is coming to Xbox, which I think, regardless of whether you like the series or not, I think that's great news for Xbox and fans of the series that want to play it on their preferred platform. So, Jago, welcome back, man. Let's check in with him, see how he's sounding.
Yeah, he sounds like you.
Jago, you there?
Oh, he said the wife got him tied to the bed, so he's kind of like can't really talk right now.
I don't know what's going on, but we got a circle here, but we don't hear him.
He's got a ball shoved in his mouth.
Unfortunately,
little Pulp Fiction, huh? Oh.
He's not on camera, so he can't even meme the show right now.
I think he's about to fix his camera. He's about
to fix something, all right. I think his internet's giving him the fits. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Mental, Square Enix warming up to Xbox. Do you think this potentially means more Square Enix games and up on the Xbox overall. I think we've seen a trend recently with Square Enix that a lot of their game sales are starting to go down. You know, they don't sell as many copies on Xbox, obviously, but still, you know, if you can squeeze out another 2 million copies of a game, I mean, why would you not put it out there when it's minimal work to really transfer and put it on another platform? You know what I mean? And I think now that the Square, the Activision Blizzard thing has kind of been pushing through, I think they're starting to see now that, you know, Xbox ain't playing around, and they're going to have a potential bigger audience here in probably a couple of months, if not a couple of years. And I think they want to be on the upside of that, and they want to get more money, because if the numbers are going down, we always say multi-plats in more multiple places is only a good thing. How do you feel about that?
There's really nothing bad to say about it. I mean,
Right.
honestly, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I mean, so for me, it doesn't make a hill of beans a difference if that's what, you know, the big deal is about for most people. You know, maybe if a few more of them end up in Game Pass, some of the newer ones, I might give them a try. It's never really been my thing. Square is an interesting studio, or whatever you want to call them, I guess. But for me, it's not something like, you know, all the rumors of, you know, I guess it's not even rumors, but it sounds like, you know, Microsoft was in talks to buy Square, right, prior to flipping and going to Bethesda. Personally, I'm way happier that they bought Bethesda over Square. A few things would have been nice about Square, I guess, if they had got a hold of them back then. They would have got the Tomb Raider franchise and things like that, which I liked. But of course, that's all been sold off now. So, I mean, at this point, I don't have any real major affinity to Square Enix. So that's my opinion.
Fair enough. How about you, Sir X-Men? Does thought of more Final Fantasy games coming to the Xbox, does it please you?
I'm going to say the word that I introduced you to when you were on K-Mega's show with me. They just came here for the bag, man.
Well, that's true. They
You're
came
not
for the bag.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, they want some of that extra Microsoft money.
Yeah, you notice now, if you just real quick on that, you notice how everybody is using the phrase "the bag" now after I said that on the show with you. You notice that?
Right.
It's everywhere.
I know, right? But
it is.
I think Square Enix had got tired of dealing with Papa and is ready to go out on their own finally. Because they really realized their allowance was not as much as they should have been getting. And they've been making a lot of mistakes along the way. The reason they want Final Fantasy to go to it's on PC and it's on PlayStation and it's an MMO. So they probably see how good Phantasy Star 2 is doing, because it's making money. Don't get me wrong, it's making money. And they figure we want to tap into some of that Xbox money over there. So that's also another reason why they want to bring 14 over to Xbox. But they're talking next year. That's a long time to wait for a game
this year or next year, but you're totally right, though. Like, because of all the games in the series, that one's a subscription-based MMO, right? So they make money on people paying into subscription. So why would you not want to have that in as many places as possible? I think if it does well on Xbox, they reevaluate where they're going with future titles. But I think they're starting to see that, you know, for the little bit of effort it takes to, you know, bring a game over to the platform, that it's definitely worth the while. And there are some people that only own Xbox and they're missing out. So, you know, until they become an exclusive Sony studio, which, you know, there is talks that potentially Sony could try to snag up Square Enix, then, you know, why not put your stuff over in Xbox? There is a contingent of fans that have been actually asking for it. So
yeah, but unless there's signed paper, Sony could come in and stop that. Or Sony might be trying to get the deal now, playing the game, get the deal now. So when Microsoft come in, then whatever money that they get goes to Sony. You know, they could be pulling a fast one. But I won't get it, because the only MMO that I play is Star Trek Online. You know, I've been playing that since day one. I don't care about the other ones, the Oblivion one, Elder Scrolls Online. I'm a Trekkie, so I'm gonna go where I'm happy.
How about you, Mental? Do you
Oh,
play any of
makes
the
sense.
MMOs at all?
The only one I don't even know if it's more of a looter shooter, I guess, but the only one I ever played really was Destiny. So I'm
I
long
don't know
past
what
that.
Destiny is, Mental. I can't even say
Yeah.
if it's an MMO or shooter. Or, I have no
I don't
clue.
know either.
It's changed a
But
lot.
I don't
That's for
think they
sure.
know. Yeah, I don't think they know.
know.
To be honest,
Every time I
mean,
boot it up, I feel
it's
completely lost. Like I have no idea where I'm at and what's going on anymore. It's just so different.
Well,
well.
I'm just happy I beat the
Yeah.
first mission in the beginning before they totally changed how you start the game again. I'm so glad I don't have to go through that.
I finally got over. I kicked that addiction. Geez, it's over 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago when I really, finally got away from it. And the only thing that really kept me going in the thing was the PvP. I do the story stuff a bit and a bit of PvE, but I had a lot of fun playing PvP, and Iron Banner was a big part of that. But
I
once
like
they
Iron Banner.
really yeah, I used to love it. Like I'd do that every month without fail. That's what kept me engaged. But eventually they really screwed up the matchmaking to the point where the teams were always so lopsided. You're either on the team getting the mercy or you're on the team being curb stomped and getting mercied. And it was just, 80% of the games were like that. And then they really got on this kick of they hated people having a good winning percentage. They always tried to match make it where they considered your winning percentage and throw you, ultimately on a losing team. If you had a positive winning percentage, they wanted everybody around that 50% mark. Well, I was up around close to 70% winning percentage. And then I would get into strings where I was losing 18, 20 games in a row. And that's just not fun, right? Where you're the only guy on the team with a positive KD and everybody else is a 0.5 or less. And you're just getting run over all the time. I had enough. When I saw my winning percentage finally drop below 50% and continuing to go down, I was done. That was it.
See, this is why I play
anymore.
This is why I play Battlefield. This is why I play Battlefield.
I might have to give it a try.
Oh, I've been loving Battlefield. I'm at level 57 now, finally. I finally got back into it.
What are you playing, Battlefield 2042?
Yes, sir.
Never played it and refused to, but that's a story for another day.
But hey, it's on Game Pass. You could give it a try.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of other stuff I can try too that I would rather play than Battlefield. So,
yeah.
I'm just a Battlefield fan, man. I'm just a Battlefield. I play Halo too, but I'm a Battlefield fan. Always have been since the beginning.
Yeah, I'll play Halo with my kids. We'll get set up as soon as they're all. I haven't set their stuff up yet, but as soon as they're set up, by next weekend, I'm sure we'll be doing some Halo together again.
On the Battlefield point, real quick, there is nothing like blowing up a vehicle with 6 people in it, and you get 6 kills. There's nothing like it in the world.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You think that's crazy? Well, I was playing Serious Sam, Siberian Mayhem the other night. It's on Game Pass, guys. You can go give it a try. You can play it with 4 players co-op, but there was this one spot, and it was hilarious, where there was literally hundreds of enemies swarming at myself, Game Down Sights, and Cyber Gunter.
So that's who he was playing with, because I was wondering why was he playing Serious Sam.
So we're shooting all these enemies. We're just going through ammo and we're having a blast. But you have this grenade. It's called the black hole grenade. And this was hilarious. I've seen black hole ones before. But I tossed out this one grenade thinking, I don't know, maybe it'll do something. And I toss out this grenade and this gigantic black wormhole opens above the head. And it literally sucked up every enemy from the battlefield. And it was freaking hilarious. I think the boys got it on video.
Crackdown 3 did that, remember? Crackdown 3.
Yeah, they were just going, the whole works were going up in this thing, man. It was wait the whole thing out. We were just laughing like that was awesome. Oh my God, great game, man. Go check it out on Game Pass if you get a chance. Great fun, especially with a bunch of friends. We got the iconic video games. Mr. Axel1324 is in the chat. Jesse Darby hanging out with us as well. Fastback, Pixel Slapper here as well. Pulpy Teen is in the building. What's going on? Lots of great people. Nixie is here. Who else we got? Obviously, Doggy Dog still hanging out with us. Portal Player in the building. Good to see you. Thanks for coming out, guys. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Share this stuff out if you can. We got Sir X-Men here. Not very often we get him. Jago hasn't made it back yet, but hopefully momentarily, if we get him at all. And yeah, so those who are catching the show late, yes, Titan could not make it tonight. Something must have come up because he gave me a late notice that he could not be here. So, but yes, I'm glad that Mental could be here because he was not here last week. So, yeah, so here we are, guys. Any further thoughts, Pataki, on Square Enix, or should we move the needle here? There really isn't much to talk about, but I mean, I think it's a bonus. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a bonus for Xbox fans who haven't purchased a PlayStation that are interested in playing it, and it only helps amplify Xbox's image in the land of the rising sun where it continues to struggle. So the more games that they have can only help, it can't hinder.
I think when they finally give them Final Fantasy VII, they might start changing their mind.
What happened to Sir X-Man? He turned into a ghost.
I am a ghost.
You don't see him.
I'll be
He's
back.
Totally disappeared.
I'll be back in a second. I got a slider on my camera. But no, I think real quick. I think that when people get Final Fantasy VII, then they'll start believing that maybe Square Enix is starting to turn itself around and starting to be more cooperative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people on Xbox been wanting that for so long. And you have to start favoring people back into your ecosystem after what your previous people did you and steered you in the wrong direction for making money.
Oh yeah.
I guess the next question is though, do you think that they're still going to continue to be very selective with their games moving forward, or is it only dependent on who throws the biggest, as you say, bag at the publisher? You know what I mean? So if the bag is big enough, they're just going to stick their games on there, because we've known in the past that Sony has liked to make offers to keep the Square Enix stuff off of the Xbox platform.
No, I think if they start seeing profit margins that go above what Sony offers them on multiple places to play, I think there will be a turnaround. Plus, they also have a new person in charge as of February. So the previous boss is gone. So maybe he has more of an open mindset to making it more multi-platform. And one more thing, if Square Enix ever hears this, please go back to turn-based RPG. I don't like the new way you're doing this.
This should give people options. Have that in the menu, turn-based or action.
Yeah, one of the two, but I love the turn-based. I'm a Final Fantasy X fanatic, dude. I love Final Fantasy X.
Jago, welcome back. Let's see if we can hear him now.
I think he's in the hospital. Oh, no. Oh, they took the oxygen mask off. They took off the oxygen mask.
Hey, it's working. I'm not doing shit. I'm not moving.
Okay, that's the main thing. It is working. Jago, last point before we move on to something else. How do you feel about Square Enix obviously bringing Final Fantasy 14, the MMO, over? I don't think those are your bag, so to speak, but it's got to bode well for Xbox.
I think you asked, because they still give me shit, but I think you asked me, did I care about Final Fantasy 14? No, I do not.
I give shit about Final Fantasy 14.
Right, but the ramifications, right? Regardless of what you feel about it, the ramifications for Xbox fans has to be at least a positive step in the right direction.
Right, of course. If you're into those type of games, I'm not. I'm one of those guys that I think I saw clowns. Now that they need to support it, you've been asking for it, and I said, I posted the other day, I was like, okay, I didn't ask for it, so that means I don't have to support it, right? I mean, you enjoy those games. Not me. Yeah. The online has never been my thing, not whatsoever. Not zero interest in that. It's good for Xbox. Of course, it's going to help make them some money. Of course, and that's what everybody's in business for. They're not our friends. Let's be honest. They like our money, not our personality. I'm more of a 7, Final Fantasy 7, 6, Some of the old school
You better
ones.
throw 10 in there. You
8,
better throw Final Fantasy 10 in there.
Did you like Final Fantasy 7 Remake?
I never played 10.
Oh.
Never played it.
So I really like Final Fantasy 7 Remake simply because they got rid of the turn-based stuff.
It just came one of those things that are coming out and.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Jago.
I mean, I played the demo. I did play the demo. No, I did play the demo. I enjoyed the demo, and I had all intentions on buying it. I just never did. So, it's one of those things. So like I got how many games to buy? Because this stuff coming here. But yes, it's a bonus. It's more of a reason for people to maybe pick up an Xbox. It will definitely make Xbox and Microsoft more money. It will definitely broaden the horizons of the make it more accessible and acceptable to other people that are not in, say, North America. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a good thing.
On that tip, so when they come out with part 2 of Final Fantasy next year, would you consider, okay, I'm going to get 1, and then I'm going to play part 2 behind it? Would you get it then?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Final Fantasy 7, I'm going to just go and put this out here. That's my favorite Final Fantasy. I mean, till this day. I did buy 15 when it launched on Xbox, and I bought the collector's hard book for it, the strategy guide or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to play 16 because I don't have a PS5. I have a PS4, but I do have the Spider-Man one coming in September 1st. So, but yeah, I just wish they would. I wish we could fast forward and get the development for Final Fantasy VII Remake done and have it in one complete package. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Right.
Episodic
Yes.
stuff with that. Episodic with that game should have never been done. Should have never been done like that.
No.
I may have missed this. Is the remake coming to Xbox finally? Was that announced or
still nothing?
Nothing still? Okay.
Nothing still in the remake. No, they was originally supposed to come out, but they kiboshed that for whatever reason. Somewhere along the line, somebody must have tossed some switcheroony money at Sony or whatever, or Sony tossed it at them, and there you go. It's not likely to come out, and by the time it does come out, does anybody actually
am I crazy? Am I crazy?
Well, we know you're crazy.
A sticker saying it was coming to Xbox or something.
Well, I mean, it did.
Yeah,
but remember, it did. It displayed Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Saying that was coming to Xbox back in the
day? It was supposed to be a 2-year release window.
It was shown off on the Xbox stage, right? It was shown off on the Xbox stage a couple of years ago, so it was supposed to come out on the Xbox, right? It literally highlighted their show, and then we heard nothing. We all kind of figured, okay, it's going to be a 1-year exclusivity, fair enough. And I knew a lot of people were waiting, and we never saw it afterwards. And now this is almost 2-3 years now since that game came out.
Longer than that.
Coming out, yeah. So it's not coming. Simple as that. So
when did it come out? 2019?
No, it came out before then, didn't it?
No. I think you're right. This is 2023,
2021, I think.
2020, I'm pretty sure 2021. It came out during COVID.
2020, probably. You're probably right. I know it's been at least 3 years ago. Yeah.
I think they showed it off in 2017.
Did it come out after PS5?
No, it came out before PS5.
Yeah, so they came out 2 years before that.
So it'd be 2020 then, because I thought it was
2020. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Late fall release or something.
It came out in the spring.
Do I need to Google this?
Yeah, it came out in the spring right before the PlayStation 5, which was November 2020. That's right.
Right. Okay, so 6 months. Okay.
Remember that because then they released Final Fantasy VII Remake. What do you call it? Remake? Like they made the PS5 edition or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah. So they could charge more money for it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. But anyway, let's move right along. It's a bonus for Xbox. Most of us don't really care. We're not the biggest Final Fantasy players, obviously, from the sound of everybody on this panel. But let's talk about something that a lot of us are fans of. We're talking about Assassin's Creed, and most importantly, we're talking about game time runtimes. I mean, I want to find out from you guys and from the chat, what is your sweet spot? How long should a game on average take you to beat? Now, with money being tighter and time certainly of the essence as we get older, a lot of us are working. We're trying to do podcasts. We're trying to fit a whole lot of things in, and the backlogs are getting bigger. So, again,
Right.
these 40-hour games, 50-hour games, some games almost dictate that they should have it, but where do you feel comfortable? What is kind of like your minimum, your maximum? We know a lot of the Call of Duty stuff runs at about 5 or 6 hours. Like for a lot of people, they seem they're okay with that with a shooter. A lot of RPGs tend to typically run 40 or more. So what's the sweet spot as Assassin's Creed Mirage is going back to its old school roots and keeping it more streamlined and linear? And they're saying that you can basically kind of go for full completion in 25 hours or less. So let's start with since Mental, I'm not sure if he's still there, or I know he's having a bit of chow, I think, but
He's here.
let's go with you, Sir X-Men, and roll around the group. So what's the sweet spot for you in time to complete a game?
Well, I'm old school, so I say 30, no more than 40 hours.
Okay, 30 to 40.
Because I like games linear. I don't mind long linear, and I don't mind little scats along the side that's along the path. But I don't like where you branch out for like 2-3 hours just to get to a point and then go back 2-3 hours to your other point.
Okay, so would you say 40 as a completion? Like if you're a completionist getting the whole thing, or kind of 40 on the main quest?
As a completionist, I say 40.
Okay, I'm down with
25 to 30 for the main storyline.
What would you say is the longest game you've ever played at this point before you completed it?
Damn, that's a tough one.
That's a good question.
Usually when it gets past 40 or 50 hours, I usually like, okay, it's time to move on.
Right.
I lose the tension because
you're not going to believe the one that I'm going to tell you, but I'll wait till my turn comes around.
Knowing you, it's probably a game that took you like 400 hours or something like that.
No, I never go that far. But the one I did play, oddly enough, took me quite a while before I finally completed it. So, how about you, Jago? Where's your sweet spot, man? 20, 30, 40, maybe less? What's the maximum? What's the minimum?
Well, it all depends. Honestly, it all depends for me on if I'm really into the game or not. But
all right,
I'm kind of with Sir X-Man. Say 25 to 45 hours, depending on what you're doing or whatever. It's like a full completion is plenty. Like I never even finished Horizon Forbidden West because that game just drug on. It was just, oh my god, it was terrible. And I really enjoyed the first one. I loved Forbidden West, but yeah, somewhere around 40 hours is plenty. It's plenty. I feel like I feel like a lot of games just try to pad games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make them longer with stupid side missions like go find so and so's leg, go find so and so's birth control pills or whatever the fuck they got you dumb shit they're doing.
And then when you got there, I went all this way for this, and I didn't get anything worthy. What
this shit? Yeah.
Yeah, they should make side quests in some of those RPGs. Like when you like literally play for 10 hours to beat that side quest, you're getting laid. You know what I mean? You're getting some payout.
Yeah.
Big orgasm scene. Like I said,
like I said though, it all depends on the game though. Like I think I put over 100 hours in Cyberpunk, and when I was like pretty much done with everything I could do in that game at the time, I wanted it to keep going. It's the same thing with all the Mass Effect games. Once I was done with the what was that, the remastered versions of them all, because that's the first time I had played them, I couldn't get enough. I wanted them to keep going. But like I said, it all depends on what game it is. I'm an old school guy. You know that, Noof. Yep. I like my linear games. I like one of my favorite games of last year was Evil West. That was strictly linear. And it was like Red Dead, kind of like a Red Dead Redemption type game, strictly linear as hell, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah. It didn't take 1,000 hours to beat, and I'm okay with that. Now I do have a problem with a game that has like a 3-hour campaign. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. Especially if you don't have any multiplayer. That and they charge you $60 or $70 for that. That's total bullshit. But yeah, that's horse shit. But yeah, like I said, 20, 25, 30 hours, 40 hours max maybe for a completion. I think that's plenty. And there is no bloat or just like bullshit game.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean there ain't no bloatware in the game?
Yeah. He's cracking up.
Yeah, but a lot of games are slowly starting to convert back to linear. It's not big, but it's starting to happen.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they go off the rails. If that's just if that's a writing thing. Like we certainly heard a lot of the Assassin's Creed games over the years, especially Odyssey and Valhalla, were extremely long, and a lot of the quests were really overly relevant to everything else. Do you know what I mean? So you just kind of go,
right.
I don't know. Did they have like they were trying to get everybody's little mission in? You know, maybe there's 100 developers on the team and everybody came up with their own mission. Like, yeah, we're gonna put that in there. That's good.
But one thing I heard about the Odyssey side quest, unlike some other games, they actually had story to the side quest. That's why a lot of my friends I know that played it said they loved it because the side quests weren't boring. They had story with every side quest you go to. Plus, the loot you got was worth getting.
Jago, how many hours did you put into Cyberpunk? I know you're one of the few guys I saw that even with all the bugs and stuff, you played the shit out of that for a while there. So how many did you get in that one?
I played it on launch, remember? And I had very little issues on my Xbox One X. On my Xbox One X at the time, I had over 100 hours. I can't remember exactly, but I remember looking at it. It's like 110, 120 something, probably.
Damn. Yeah.
And that game was a blast the whole fucking time.
Let's scroll up the mental.
I'm with you there, man. I loved Cyberpunk, but for me, it really depends on the game.
Oh, Yobi got everybody beat. Yobi, what's going on, Dragonheart? Look at that shit. Damn.
Jesus Christ, son.
Yobi must have went back and kept staring at Pan Am for a couple hours before he completed her mission.
Jesus, Yobi.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, I replayed the tank mission with Pan Am a couple times.
Yeah, I will purposely die just so I can get another angle on her, right?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Mental, how about yourself, man? What was the longest game? I mean, where's your sweet spot? Longest, shortest, and what's the longest game you've ever played?
Longest is easy. That's Destiny. Had over 4,500 hours, I think, in Destiny.
Jesus.
But
Jesus,
that's like Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 combined. Yeah. But like I said, I think the best decision I ever made was to quit playing that game because I've got to play a whole bunch of other ones ever since. So for me, it really depends. A linear type, corridor shooter, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the 10 hour, maybe 15 is good. If it's more of an open world style, I like to get through the main quest in about 20, 25 hours works for me. And what I don't like about some of those games is they kind of force you into side quests in order to be leveled up enough to continue the main story.
Right.
Yep.
That kind of stuff drives me nuts.
Yep.
If I only want to play the main story, let me play the main story. Don't force me into side quests and things.
That was
like Ubisoft was bad for that at one point, right?
I was gonna say,
forcing you to go off.
I was going to say that was the reason why I quit playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because you had to be a certain level to go in certain areas, and I loved the game what I played on, but you couldn't go in these certain areas unless you were absolutely leveled up, or they would destroy you. And I was like, nope, not doing it. Nope, not doing it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's what happened to me in Origins, and not as good a game. I have Odyssey. I still haven't played it. It's part of my backlog of shame. I've heard it's great, and I will get to it eventually, but I would say it really just depends on the type of game it is and how into it I am.
It does.
I'm a Call of Duty campaign kind of guy. I don't really play the multiplayer much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish their campaigns were longer.
I'm right there with you,
the remake of Yeah, the remake of Modern Warfare 2, I really enjoyed. I loved that campaign. Had a great time.
It was
and I was a
awesome.
little bit I was a bit disappointed when it was over. I
So
could have
did you
played easily a
skip
couple
the
more hours.
airport? Did you skip the airport? Or did you go?
No. I went in and shot.
Me too. I did too.
You know, in all fairness, that's one of the things I do like with Redfall. I like the way that they did a mission structure, and Redfall brought out the missions, and then they kind of had that little branching thing. So you could stay on course, and you could do sort of like the main, but you could also do a couple of the side ones, either or, and it would just bring you to a different area, kind of deal. So,
Redfall's another game I'm playing a little bit of too.
Well, I can tell you
there once in a while.
You can tell us what.
Like I can tell you my longest, the franchise I've stayed in the longest. I can tell you the franchise I've stayed in the longest, and that's Titanfall, the Titanfall franchise 1 and 2.
Nice.
Amazing choice, dude.
60 days or more. Yeah.
Well, if we
I missed that. Which one was
he said the longest franchise he stayed in was Titanfall 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But Mental, back to you though. You talked about Destiny, but that's obviously like you finished the sort of the side or the stories per se, and then a lot of that was playing like raids and different things like that.
He had to get his light up.
No, funny enough, I didn't really do many of the raids. In fact, I don't think I did a raid in Destiny 2. It was all about the PvP for me. Destiny 1 kind of killed the whole raid thing for me because of all the glitches. And you spend 6 or 7 hours trying to, get past the final boss, and you keep getting glitched. Like, I was so sick of being stomped on by Atheon in the freaking Vault of Glass after you thought he was dead and he'd come back to life and wipe you out. It was just, But I think I did what was the next raid? The King's Fall or whatever. I did that one a couple times, and that was enough for me. I never even did the Wrath of the Machine or whatever it was, the last one they had in Destiny 1. And in Destiny 2, watching it being done online and seeing the frustration of streamers was enough for me to decide I'd never play another raid again. Yeah. So I did a couple of those, what were they called? The dungeons or whatever they were.
Right.
Yeah, they had those mini, the mini ones, mini raid kind of thing. But did a few of those. But really, between them changing everything into a quest, and just that kind of killed PvP for me. I really liked. People hated it, RNGs or whatever they call it. But I really loved the fact that I got my Galahorn just playing a regular match of PvP. I got a Galahorn doing that. I didn't want to have to do a quest for it. I thought that was stupid. I just liked the random nature of just, hey, man, I just got a killer weapon, and all I was doing was just playing the game, and I got a magical drop.
Those things are always fun.
I have to make a randomness. I have to make a correction. Since we went there, the 2 longest games I've ever spent the most time in was Burnout 3 Takedown and Project Gotham Racing 2. Those are the 2 longest games I've ever spent the most time in. Next to that was the original Halo 2. To this day.
Yeah.
I'm old school. Xbox.
All right.
What do you expect?
Well, I'm going to tell you guys the franchise that I've spent the most time in.
Fighting game wise, I got.
Is that a tiger coming to get you? Is there a tiger there coming to get you, Jago? It sounds like a tiger, man.
That $1.99 internet's getting you, buddy.
For myself, the guys.
My internet's being a piece of shit right now.
Mass Effect, believe it or not, is the franchise I've spent the most time in.
I knew that.
Between the first game and all the games, but oddly enough, and this is the one that's going to shock people, Mass Effect Andromeda. I spent over 120 hours before I beat that game. I was playing the
drugs legal in Canada now for you to have
that was a drug for me. I was playing the shit out of that game. I was playing all the side quests, and I really enjoyed it. I'm one of those people that firmly still think that Andromeda was grossly
underrated.
underrated. I think it had flaws, and I think a lot of people just couldn't put the fact down that it wasn't Commander Shepard. But I think for everything that they did wrong, they did a lot of things right. Like I think it had some of the best combat in the entire series. It had some of the best open world exploration. Going around in the little whatever it called, the Mako thing, or what, I think they had a different name for theirs. Did he not?
Right.
But there was a lot of filler in the game, and I think that was the problem. The storytelling definitely changed. Yeah, Spider-Man can tell you. Spider-Man legitimately is in the chat. He watched me play a lot of that game. He'll probably tell you why I spent 120 hours because he had those fucking alien puzzles. And
I hated those things. That's what made me quit.
God.
That's what made me quit.
And yeah, he watched me swear at those things and backtrack a dozen times and not know where the hell I was going. And yeah, it was pretty funny. We had a good laugh at that. And it's kind of funny that he brings it up because I remember, I think that's where he might have found me streaming that game before he even found my podcast. And he was coming over watching me like night after night, be streaming this fucking shit. And he's just laughing to kill himself because I'm like, damn puzzles. He could tell you, man. It was pretty funny. Yeah, Yobi, man. Yeah, like I said, I think that game was decent, had potential, but obviously, for a lot of different reasons, it just didn't have the same heart as the main series. But still, if you're a Mass Effect fan, I say go play it and give it a try. So that really was the longest stuff, and I've always spent at least 40 plus hours in each of the games, and for me, that's the sweet spot. For an RPG. For RPGs, 40 hours, and that's doing a good bulk of the side quests, like not just plowing through the story, but about 40 hours on an RPG. Because a lot of times it takes a while to level up your character anyway, and to see a lot of things. So a lot of those RPGs are filled with some great story and great characters, and I think you're doing yourself a disservice to kind of blow through it. Now, when you're doing something like Mental said, like Call of Duties, where it's kind of a straightforward thing, I'm totally fine with 10 hours or a little bit less because those are like action movies. They're all about the bang, bang, boom, get in, get out, But, the thing that I like is, well, the mechanics are always typically the same in Call of Duties. Each level feels vastly different. I mean, you got your sniper levels.
No, they slow them down. No, they slow them down in story mode.
Oh, well, they do.
It's not like the multiplayer.
It's not a Twitch-bit shooter when you're playing story. You actually got to be more methodical about your stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Battlefield's had some great moments too, and one that comes up with them is remember the Bad Company games, still revered as some of their
Bad Company too, greatest one ever.
So good. I wish they'd bring that back. A Bad Company 3. I think the fans would go ape shit. But nobody listens to the fans, right? Nobody listens to the fans. They kind of do their own fucking thing. They take out the campaign altogether because not enough people play it. Well, screw you, turd burglar.
For them, they took out the campaign for Battlefield. I was so pissed.
Yeah. Right.
No. Yeah, that's the only thing I played in it ever. I always looked forward to those campaigns.
Me too, man. Battlefield 3 was awesome.
I love playing the campaigns. I love playing the campaign because you unlock weapons that you could get for the multiplayer that you couldn't get in the multiplayer. That's why I love doing the campaign modes, especially Battlefield 4. Because I had a P90 when no one had a P90 in Battlefield. Because I got to the end and did that special thing you're supposed to do in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, that was good. That was a nice system.
I just looked. I have 100. I just looked. I have 150 hours in Cyberpunk. I also have 150 plus hours in Marvel's Midnight Sun.
Damn!
You actually played that game? Wow, you're a brave man.
That game's awesome. If you're a superhero guy. If you're a superhero guy, that game is awesome.
He's got over 300 and something hours in that game. I'm like, oh my God, get a life.
So, yeah, I put 47 hours into my first playthrough of Cyberpunk. I'd have to look at how much time I've got on Xbox, but that was the PC version when I played through it. I know I've spent more time than that on Xbox because I've done more of the extra stuff and I've got more of the achievements and junk. But yeah, I still haven't completed it on Xbox, oddly enough. I've got the last mission to do, and I've kind of been running around doing all these other things before I go do that final mission. But I hop in there, once a month and do a little bit more, and then I'll go back to it and finish it up before the Phantom Liberty comes out.
Let me ask you guys this question before I lose track of it here. What was one game that you've completed, but by the time you were done, you were like, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's over. I'm so sad it's over. It's kind of like, oh, thank you, Jesus, I'm finally through that game. Well, what game did you feel like it was a real trudge by the time you got to the end of it?
Man, it's funny. I'm having a hard time thinking of
I
one,
know
even though I
mine right
know
off the
there's
top of my
plenty
head.
of them. Do you? Well, go for it then.
So since I know mine right off the top of my head, I'm going to say Horizon Forbidden West. Because while I loved Horizon Zero Dawn and I found it hit the sweet spot, I did find that Forbidden West
phenomenal.
just felt
It was phenomenal.
it was a great game,
Zero
but I
Dawn
did
was
feel
great.
like by the time I got to like the last sort of section of the game, I was worn out. It felt like God damn, this game is too big. I kept feeling like I was doing the same shit over and over, and it was just like I wanted it to be over. I wanted to see the end credits. I was like, come on, let's just wrap this up now, because I like doing a lot of the side quests, but I just felt like it wasn't enough differentiation overall. And I was glad it was over when it was done. I was like, that game could have been, that game could have been 20. That game could have been 20 hours shorter and still had have completed the same. You know what I mean? And still been just as good, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I love Zero Dawn. I haven't played Forbidden West. Maybe when it comes out on PC, I'll grab it at some point. But Zero Dawn, I really enjoyed. I played the expansion too. Went around and got all the best stuff I could get. And I loved that one. I thought that was actually my favorite game on PlayStation for that generation, like PS4 gen. That's hands down my favorite. I bought it when it came out on PC and I replayed the whole thing again. Really enjoyed that game. But
can I say lifetime for me?
Go ahead, man.
The original God of Wars. When I beat them, the original 3.
Yeah.
I always wish there was more, because you get so hooked on the combat and the dialogue in the original God of War. Everything he had to face, and you like, oh my God, I don't want to stop. And it was a linear game too.
Yeah.
And
the new ones are the opposite. You're just like, oh, fuck's sake, will this be over already?
You know what's funny though? Like, you bring up God of War. I went back to replay.
For me, it was a game.
Sorry, I got the remastered version on PS4.
Yeah.
I think it's God of War 3, and I launched that the other I was going to say the other day, but it was probably over a month ago now because it was before I moved.
Felt good, didn't it, to play it?
And no, the funny thing is I was like, I used to like this game. It just seemed wrong. Like, I don't know, everything about it seemed wrong. Like, right down to Kratos' voice, like he just sounded like a wimp compared to the God of War 4. Like the voice acting just seemed weak in comparison. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, maybe it's just me. But
you got spoiled with the new mechanics.
That's what I think so. I think so. Yeah, I mean,
dark.
Go ahead.
What? Go ahead, Jago. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the it's off the top of my head. The Dark Pictures, The Devil in Me, last year. Yes. That was probably the shittiest one of their games they'd released, and once I pushed through it. Yeah, for me personally, some people loved it, but I pushed through it because I love those games. But I was like, when I was done with it, I was like, I'm never playing this piece of shit again. Oh no, God no.
The one before that, I thought was their best.
What was the
the
Quarry?
Was it the
Quarry?
The Quarry. No, the one before the Quarry, the military one.
Yeah, the military one. Oh yeah, that's in my two or three.
That one was good. I just can't remember the name of it, because there was Man of Medan, and then there was Man of Medan. House of Ashes, wasn't it? That was it.
House of Ashes. That's it. Yep, House of Ashes.
That was one of that was their best, in my opinion, since.
Did you say House of Ashes?
Until Dawn. House of Ashes.
Quite House of Ashes.
Yep. House of Ashes. You go through and you test to see the firmness of each ass. Yep. No, that was the best one. Until Dawn's their best one, and then House of Ashes.
Yeah. Until
Dawn
had phenomenal production value.
Yeah, that was a great game. I really enjoyed that one too.
You could tell that the budget was higher, like for Until Dawn. Obviously, it took them a lot longer before they started coming out with the rest of them. Then they were pumping them out every year, so you're starting to go, yeah, I think their budget's getting smaller. They're hiring some actors, but didn't quite have the same production.
Well, they actually had a blonde-haired actress in Until Dawn too. What was her name? I can't remember. She was in Heroes and stuff. God, Can't think of her name now.
Well, they had Rami Malek in there,
and the guy from there was another guy. I can't.
Rami Malek, the guy who played
the
guy who played Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie.
Yep.
He was in there.
Yep. And then the blonde hair girl, I can't think of her name. She was in the Heroes TV show. Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh my God! I just had a brain with her fine self.
Yeah. I can't
the
think of her name right now, but yeah, that was Devil in Me. It was
Hayden Panettiere.
Hayden Panettiere. Yep.
Yeah. That game was all about the Wendigo, wasn't it? Wendigo.
Yeah. But one game. There is one game where I did not mind the side quests, and that I love to beat. And a lot of people probably don't know this game, but the original Sega property, Condemned. I loved Condemned. They had like little side things for weapons that you had to find. I love doing that, man. That was one of my favorite games. And I never really played a horror game except for like the original Resident Evil and Extinction Extermination that a lot of people don't know about. That was only on PS2. But man, Condemned took me to a whole new way, made me think, I kind of like side quests.
Interesting. Yeah, I have Condemned on 360, I think, if I'm not.
It's backwards compatible with the disc.
Is it?
And downloadable. Yeah, it's been backwards
somewhere.
Compatible. Me too. You need to play it. You ever beat it?
I started it at one point and just never finished it. So I'll have to go back and give it another shot.
Sucked. Two sucked, but one is incredible.
You guys, you said you brought up a horror game, Sir X-Man.
Oh God, why did I do that?
Has a great, actually pretty good too. I don't think a lot of people liked it. Like I didn't like the first one. Without it's phenomenal. If you haven't played it, it's worth the play.
What game was that again? Because you were blanking in and out. You were blanking in and out, Jago. We didn't hear you.
My internet sucks. Dead Island 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't
play that one yet.
It's great.
I don't do Dead Islands, but I hear people like it.
I want to try it out.
It's good. It's really good. Trust me, I didn't like the first one. I hated it. The second one is phenomenal. It should be after it took 9 years to make.
Survival horror is one of my favorite genres. Like I love Outlast. I thought both the first two were great.
Those games are crazy.
Yeah, one of my favorites was Alien Isolation. I thought that game was heavily underrated. So I've played it through it 3 times now. I think.
So good.
I love that game.
So
it was
amazing. Guys, y'all got to throw Left 4 Dead 2 up in there. You got to.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 was pretty good as well. Yeah. I gotta say, one of my favorites, man. I think that's why I love the remakes of all the Resident Evil games so much. And then there's Resident Evil 7 and 8 where I love them. Great games. That's
and Dino Crisis, and Code Veronica. Please bring those back.
Played Dino Crisis. Code
what?
Veronica. Yeah, I have not played Dino Crisis. There's so many games, so little time. Come on, man.
Yeah, but this was back then when they weren't pushing out as many games.
Little time.
I played Paranormal Activity in VR. That shit was pretty crazy.
I think I heard about how scary that shit was. I heard about that.
Trust me, man.
And anything in VR takes on a completely different fucking atmosphere.
There's so many games I haven't played either. My favorite VR game still to this day, The Evil 7 in VR.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I want to try that Resident Evil 4 VR mode.
I beat it in under 4 hours in VR.
Did that come out yet? For you?
Resident Evil 4 VR mode is not out yet. I don't think it's coming.
Yeah, you got to stream that. I need to see you doing.
G'day, Stick Figure. What's going on, mate? Good to see you here, brother. RWK88. What's happening? Casket Repair. Doggy Dog. Dreadpool's in the building. What's going on? Fastback still hanging out with us, guys. Amazing people in the chat. Hit that like, share, subscribe, guys. Greatly appreciate you being here. 22 amazing people checking out this show live, and for those of you catching up with it on the replay, we greatly appreciate it.
But I want to see you stream that Resident Evil 4 VR, dude.
You know what I hate about streaming the stuff in VR is they don't have the chat mode coming up in the side, like the chat doesn't come up on the screen. So you have to get, if anybody's chatting with you and to interact with them, you have to turn on the audio descriptor, so which also gets kind of distracting.
Right.
So then basically, if you're saying what's up, Noof, you got then the people's messages are like coming out in voice. It's like, what is up, Noof, or whatever, off in the side, and you're just like, Jesus.
Oh, so, you might hear people say, Noof is a piece of shit. I mean, you're like, what?
Right?
Let me turn VR.
Yeah, that's kind of the downside with the streaming of VR. Is something I don't really like, but I mean, I understand why, because it's just it's probably too much going to have an overlay with like the actual like graphics popping on the screens, and probably very distracting too, especially in VR, where you're trying to immerse in your surroundings. So yeah, but at the end of the day, as long as you get to stream it, that's the main thing. But me, if I'm streaming something, I need to be interacting. I hate having people watching and I can't talk with them. You know what I mean? Drives me nuts.
You can always link a second person with you on your stream to just tell you the important phrases that were said. You know what I'm saying? Just to filter out all the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Monitor.
I gotta answer this question for Stick Figure. Yes, VR porn is absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna tell you that right now, brother. It's just like being in Pervert Row at the strip club, man. If you could almost fucking smell it. It's crazy.
What up, Stick Figure?
Oh, I can see Xbox making a controller spinning like,
a custom controller, a new adaptive controller.
Instead of they'll have a physical aid for you. You just strap it around your waist and let it go.
Oh man, yeah, crazy.
Oh man, I've been hanging.
It's funny, like as we've been talking here, I've been scrolling through the list of all the games I have, like on Steam and whatnot, and trying to find ones that I was like, man, thank God that's over. But I'm noticing most of the ones that I probably would have felt that way, I quit playing before I was done. So I guess that answers the question.
I won't even get to the end. I'm just done with it now. It's over.
I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of these people.
So what, of those games, what was one of the hardest grinds then? Like, you obviously didn't complete it, so you didn't complete it for a reason. It's not because you got bored, or were you just like, man, this game is just not grabbing me?
Well, there's a lot of them that just didn't grab me, I guess. Oh man, now I got to scroll back through. Well, Gotham Knights for a recent one. I don't know how many hours I put into that. If I look here, where's the hour total? Looks like about 10 hours, rough. Yeah, 9 hours and a bit. But yeah, I mean, that one
time to feel it.
Yeah, I gave it a good run, but it just didn't catch my interest at that point. And I'm like, if I'm that far in, forget about it. I'm not
what game was
play
that
it anymore? So, Gotham Knights. I just
what
couldn't.
game was that?
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, it was Gotham Knights, and I just couldn't get into it. As a recent one, I mean, even Amnesia, which is a game I thought I'd like, The Dark Descent. I got like 3 hours into that, and I was out. If it hasn't got me by that point with a game like that, I'm not going to stick around. Saints Row the Third, Saints Row the Fourth. Why do I have Saints Row the Fourth? I don't know. I didn't play Saints Row the Third for more than a few hours, so thought maybe the fourth one would be better. I don't know. I probably got it on a cheap sale or something, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
8 hours and 27 minutes in Gotham Knights. Mental.
There you go.
I mean, that game works for you.
Oh my God.
Jago puts himself through punishment.
Trust me. Trust me.
That's funny.
I don't know a game because I've tried so many games and didn't feel it. Even ones that I buy.
No, I understand. If you're an old school Batman fan like me, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah. I there's so many games over even the past few years that I've tried, and I'm like, nah, you're not keeping me awake. I just try to move on to something else or go back to play the old ones that I like. I just, unless it's a Tomb Raider, you can't catch my attention.
I look at like this, Sir X, man. I'm getting a top like it. and
Your crappy
like,
internet is
like
you again.
it was fun. I know, it's fucking killing me. It's fucking killing me.
Yeah.
I don't never have.
Jago needs performance mode for his internet. Digital Foundry's got
Yo, man, give your internet a blue pill and pump it up. All right.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. There's so many.
I don't know what it is.
Like,
man. I don't know what it is.
And I like the game. There are certain games that I like, but because of how busy life gets, it's like you get to the point. Do you really feel like putting this much time into that game when you don't have that kind of time?
No.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
That's the biggest problem by these big, giant games. And word of mouth gets out. They said, man, this game going to take you forever. I'm like, okay, I'm not buying it. And that actually happens.
Apparently, I like Hogwarts Legacy because I'm already over 40 hours into that game. I didn't even realize it. Like, so.
And you're not close to finishing it yet, I guess?
No, I don't think so. I'm only level 20 something, but I keep getting sidetracked running around killing things. So I think as far as like the main story.
So let me ask you this. That's a great point. So is that a good thing or a bad thing that you playing the game and getting sidetracked and killing things without going? Like, you could look at it either way. Because I'm thinking if the game is compelling, you probably want to get through the story. You want to see it out. You're like, man, I just got to stay on track. But if you're getting sidetracked, again, it could go either way. So how do you deem that then?
In this case, I would say it's probably a good thing. Because it tells me I'm having fun with the gameplay mechanics, right?
Right.
And just messing around with the different spells you learn, and I'm unlocking more stuff as I go. There's all the different little challenges to kill a certain number of trolls or certain number of spider things, and so on and so on. And that's what I'm getting sidetracked doing. I'm like, oh hey, there's more of them over there. I should go kill those, and unlocking these Merlin challenges and junk. That I'll spot one on the map, and the next thing I know, I'm killing things along the way till I get to it, right? So it's I've been having a good time with it, and it's what I played the most of while we were displaced between homes. Just sitting at the Airbnb there, playing that on my laptop. But I'll be going back into it for sure. It's I've been enjoying it. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because like with Destiny and Diablo, I mean, two games that start with D. I mean, one of the things with those games is you can stay to the main missions, but a lot of times the payoff is wandering around because you're always trying to figure out what you're going to get. Are you going to get a really good weapon? It's that whole risk reward, go someplace to get loot, and maybe you get next to shit all, but typically speaking, if you get to this area and you end up beating a boss or something like that, you often get something decent on the payout. So
yeah,
but the payouts haven't been that great lately.
Like with with that Serious Sam game I'm playing, like it's pretty linear overall. You kind of forward, go through the levels.
They've always been linear, yeah.
But if you do wander off in certain sections, because this game does have sort of semi-open world maps, like they're pretty large, and you wander off, say you find a shed, and inside the shed is like a crate, and inside this crate is a really cool fucking weapon that obviously just makes the game way more fun when you get it. Because now all of a sudden, like we roll up in this one, and it's a giant fucking cannon. Like I'm talking about a cannon that came off an old ship, like an old shipwreck, like Sea of Thieves kind of cannon, and you literally take this thing and you hold it in your arms, and it looks hilarious just holding it, and then you shoot these gigantic cannonballs out of it, and it rolls through the whole battlefield, splatting everything, and it's hilarious.
I have an example why these open world games that are out there, some of them are very successful. Like Elden Ring Online, at that one. It's successful because you do it with other people. And a few games, that's why that Ghost Recon Remake was so successful, because you played it with other people. The perks you find in the game, everybody collects them, and it makes the game more immersive. When you're doing one of those games that where you're by yourself, I'm sorry, you can get kind of bored of the tediousness in the game. But if you're there with other people to accomplish these things in some of these other games, it makes it more rewarding because you feel like, oh, you guys did it together. So it feels like a sense of accomplishment, which I don't know why they're slowly fading away from co-op games. I have been noticing this, but haven't really been saying anything. Co-op story games are some of the most fun games, just like Borderlands. That's what made Borderlands so popular. I had friends that said
Sea of Thieves amazing. Sea of Thieves on its own is a real grind, but playing with your friends, it's actually quite fun.
Until you get robbed.
Well, that's part of the fun too. Is when when you got a lot of shit on that boat and someone's coming at you, that's when it gets intense. That's when that game really goes wow. Like now,
you spent 3 or 4 hours to get that loot on these different islands, and all of a sudden you lose everything.
But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes you curse and you go, God dang,
These son of a bitch. I wish I could tag them and find them somewhere in the ocean and go back and get sweet revenge.
Right.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Go back in time, plant claymores and C4 on their ships.
Yeah, put a bounty on that ship if they rob you. Mm-hmm. That would be an awesome thing. That would make less people put bounties out. Because if a bounty is out, then you get it. Some people can set up where they could get rewards for that. For getting a bounty on a pirate ship that's been robbing people.
Indeed.
That would make that stop real quick.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, well, gentlemen, any final thoughts before we kind of get to the final segment of tonight where we bring in our special guest? And so far, we got a vote for Arnold and one for Handy Andy. So I can't do them all, just a couple of quick questions. Get them ready right now in the chat. So any further thoughts or anything from Sir X-Man or you, Mental, before we kind of roll into those guys?
I know it's not a topic for tonight, but I think you talked about it last week, and that's the mid-gen refresh concept for Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Are you down or
disappointed?
Not?
Sorry?
Are you down with that?
I'm of two minds. My initial thought is I could see where it would be hugely beneficial from a gameplay perspective, depending on what they actually decided to do in terms of technology. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The biggest issue with the Series X today is it's CPU bound most of the time. The CPU is just not fast enough to feed the GPU. That's why you get those crazy frame rate fluctuations. So if they could put together a refresh that was maybe, even if they updated the CPU to Zen 3, would make a massive difference. Zen 3 CPU is way faster than the Zen 2 CPU in gaming. The IPC is way higher, like the instructions per clock is way higher. So
I would rather have Intel. I would rather have Intel. I always put Intel in my stuff. I don't like the bottleneck that AMD provides sometimes. Intel is a little bit more open. So, my games run smooth.
Yeah. I've ran Intel almost exclusively for over a decade. I've been using AMD lately. Haven't had really any issues in that respect, but given that the Series X or Series S or whatever, it's going to be AMD. If they could get Zen 3 in it, that's running,
because it's cheaper for them.
Well, they can, Intel just doesn't have the graphics yet, right? And if you want an integrated APU that does everything all in one, you're going to use AMD in the market today, right? If they don't mind splitting it up like the old days where they have a separate CPU and GPU, they could go Intel and NVIDIA if they wanted to, right? But then it gets cost prohibitive as well because you need a different cooling solution, and eventually maybe Intel their GPUs will come along far enough that they'll be a viable alternative, and there may be some better competition there for the likes of Microsoft and Sony to go shopping.
I don't know why I've never had a problem with Intel.
Yeah, CPUs are great. Like I've got no complaints. I mean, well, the 11th gen was kind of a joke. 10th gen wasn't bad though, and
the 7 series.
Gen,
the 7 series was good. After what I got.
Yeah.
The 7 1300. So I don't have a problem with that one. That's actually like 8th gen, 8th or 9th gen, or early 9th gen. That series. So yeah.
Yeah, the 9900K was a good CPU. But yeah, it's I I've been running an AMD for a while now, so if they could throw a Zen 3 in there, it'd make a huge difference in terms of, stabilizing that 60 FPS dream. A lot of the reason you see, even Sony's system outperform or be more stable in frame rate is because of that CPU bottleneck. It hits, the wider the path the GPU has, the harder it gets hit when you can't keep its path full. So you're going to see those more random, like the 1% loads will be lower than you'll have with a narrower path CPU. And you can replicate that on a PC easily to be able to see what's happening there. So in that respect, I think it would be great. But you know what? I think in reality, if they can get game engines that are fully leveraging all 16 threads, it shouldn't really be necessary to have a mid-gen refresh at this point. And I would sooner see them hold off another year or whatever and just come out with the next gen Xbox maybe sooner than what we saw last time around.
Yeah, because I think the Xbox One X had more power. I mean, good amount of power and enough time where they could have developed good games for it. I didn't. It was powerful.
Yeah, it was a good system for what it was. I mean, I still have one of them in a box here somewhere in the room. It's it really comes down to just the CPU. Zen 2's it was a good architecture, but at 3.6 gigahertz, it's just not running high enough. If it was running at 4.4 gigahertz, you wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd be pretty happy with it, and it would be. I mean, the easy comparison there, if you look at even a 3600X CPU, will way outperform what's in and it's like a 3600X for those that don't know. It's a 6-core 12-thread CPU, but it runs at 4.4 gigahertz. It'll outperform what's in the Series X, even though that's an 8-core 16-thread CPU. It's just the clock speeds aren't high enough. So that's my take on it.
But they didn't want to take a chance on overheating either.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they could have done more with it. In fact, if they wanted to even just push the existing chip harder, because by now, 3 years in, their yield should be fantastic. And even if they just go with a 5 nanometer node or something, they could probably push the GPU up to 2.2 gigahertz and push the CPU up, maybe to 4.2, 4.3, and run in the same power envelope.
They could actually do that. Believe it or not, they could do that with an update, mental. They could
they could push a firmware update. They could, yeah. The problem they'd have, though, I think, is it's only a 300-watt power supply. So it might get iffy with a 7 nanometer chip that's in there.
God damn, my house burning down!
Yeah, it could get a little bit dicey.
Was that Kermit
from a
the
power
Frog?
supply perspective. But anyway.
It sounded like Kermit the Frog.
No, this is Kermit the Frog. Hi, guys. My house is going to burn down. Woo.
Oh, my God. You should do Kermit the Frog tonight. That would be so cool.
Jeez.
The first thing I would ask, hey, Kermit, how did you finger Miss Piggy?
I was very careful, and I made sure that I porked her with it.
Oh, my God. Did you give her warts?
My.
I gave her green finger.
Ah, that was good.
Alrighty.
Bye.
You know what
we're ready to close this. We are past the hour-and-a-half mark, and I want to close this out. Obviously, big thanks to Jago. Obviously, he didn't come back, so I'm guessing he's kind of done for tonight. But we do have a couple of questions, and one comes in courtesy of our good friend Stick Figa, who has a great one for Cletus, and we haven't heard from Cletus in a while. So here's the question. You can go ahead and read it out if you'd like, Mr. X-Man.
What? Oh, what's Cletus' fave VR porn genre category?
Well, hey guys, how's it getting on? This is Cletus here. First of all, I want to say great show. You guys are amazing. And it's really good to have Sir X-Men back. It's been a long time since we saw him on the podcast. And now it's like 2 weeks in a row now, or 3 weeks or something. We got bald guys we got a running theme here. It's bald guys. But anyway, speaking of bald, I like to put my bald knob into some hot chicks. So when I'm watching the pornos, what I like to see, guys, I'm a big fan of gangbangs. Because
so you go balls deep.
I got ball deep. We know that ball deep is ball deep, man. But I like them gangbangs. You know why? Because I got attention deficit disorders or some fucking thing like that. Whatever it is. What are we talking about again? Never mind. Back to the gangbang. Yeah, see, I like the gangbangs, right? Because I like the more the merrier. It's like having a big family going at it all at one time. Everything gets a little bit juicy, and then she gets a Lucy, baby. Yeah, that's what I like.
Interesting.
Just stick your toe right in there, mental. Just say whatever you want.
All right. Looks like we got some. Who else? We got some more questions coming in. Arnold, Handy Andy, Safe House. I'm gonna have to bring a Handy Andy on the screen here. We got to bring him in. So.
Oh God, he's
looks like we got to bring him in. Okay.
Oh,
all right. Here we go. Gonna have to bring in old Handy Andy here.
Stick his hand somewhere where it shouldn't be.
Have you seen him yet, sir? Yeah, I think you have.
I've been seeing him.
Hey! Eddie's in the building, people. You thought you weren't going to see me this week? Well, I got news for you. What was that question? The question was, hey, Andy, would you get handy with Sir X-Man? Of course I would.
What is wrong with you people?
Look at that sexy bald black boy at the end of the bottom of the screen. He just wants to give me some lippy, sippy. Look, the bottom line is, I don't mind getting ass and spanking ass or whatever, but yeah, this I can go any which way you guys want to go. I'm pretty easy. I don't discriminate. I masturbate.
Hey, Handy, you got a big enough hole back there for me, so you ready?
Oh, boy! I'm about to get ass blasted by Sir X-Man. Not good. Oh.
Oh God, Jesus! Why do I?
We got somebody asking for Cletus. Okay, so I'm bringing Cletus. So you're going to sit this on, Andy. Okay.
Well, hey, you asked me about aliens. Well, I knew that long time ago. They've been here for a long time. Look, the universe out there is too big. If the universe can't even hold my grandmother's ass, it certainly ain't going to hold no aliens back. They've been here for a long time. Look, ask any cow. They've been telling you that they've been moving on over for all them anal probes. That's what's going on. They've been up more assholes than the politicians in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So no, the aliens have been around a long time, and yeah, I think that the Handy Andy guy that's on the screen, he probably alien because he acts a little funky, don't he? Now, look at that guy. What the hell's up with his teeth? I mean, come on. So yeah, aliens have been around, guys. And if you don't think the aliens exist, then I don't know. The world's just a little bit too big not to have aliens in it. So I'd say they're out there. Heck, I'd think Grandpappy probably had sex with one of them in Area 51 at one point. You know. Well, that's pretty discrepant, Cletus, you dumbass. Anyway, hey, I think aliens exist. I think they're cool.
I got a question for you. If you had Doc Brown's time DeLorean, where would you go in the future?
Oh, where would I go in the future? I would go to, God damn, that's a good question. You know what I would do? I would probably go somewhere where I know that like the girls are going to be absolutely freaking hot. Like, so, like, I want to go, like, you know what I mean? Like, to a, I don't even know, man. That's a great question. I really don't know. But I want to go somewhere where the girls are really, really smoking hot and everybody loves me. Everybody wants to get handy with Andy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
I stumped Handy Andy. Oh my God.
You got one from Splendiferous. You know, Mental, you can read out the questions. I find it hard to keep up with the screen because I have to adjust my glasses. They don't move too much, but I still got to adjust them. See? But it's one from Splendiferous.
Hey Andy, would you love to have Titan Drago and Mag on the same show with Sir X-Men?
Oh my God, that would be like a dream come true. three assholes in one pipe. Oh my god, just get them all together. Just fucking. When those three guys used to be together, it was absolutely crazy. You know, because Sir X-Men would basically fall asleep on the show, and then fucking Titan Drago would be like, ah! And the Maggot's like over there, I'm a pony boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys are great. They're just awesome combination of decrepitation, I think, yeah.
I don't know how to take that right now. I feel abused.
Old, bold, and out of control. Hey.
You know what?
Jesse had a question for Cletus as well. Cletus, Handy Andy looks like your distant, long-lost cousin. Is there any truth to that?
Same hairstyle.
But it's a possibility, because back in the day, I used to get with all the nerdy girls. So it's a possibility he could be related to me, because he does kind of look like, she kind of looks like Jezebella. She was a really nerdy girl that I got with back in the day. He looks a lot like her. So I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along we's related, because, I've been in more holes than the sewage company in New York City. You know what I'm saying? So you never know where my jizz roll has ended up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
there you go.
No, real quick, Handy Andy, you just made me think of something. Tell the truth, just like I experienced. Weren't nerdy girls the most freakish of all?
Who's the question for?
Handy Andy. Hey, Handy.
Oh, nerdy girls are absolutely
were the most freakish girls of all.
They are the best. Those girls can suck a golf ball through a leaf blower. You know what I'm saying? They put out so good. I love nerdy chicks. They're not only smart, but they shit when they fart. They're great. I love them. Ah.
We had a question coming
Another
in from
question
Jesse
from
Darby
Jesse.
for Safe House Sam. He wants to know what he thinks of Handy Andy. Well, Safe House, you should take this one.
Well, guys, first fucking thing you guys gotta know. You guys gotta shorten up these cock-sucking fucking shows. I mean, what's up with you cock asses? You guys said this shit was gonna be a fucking hour, and I don't think you guys will come in less than like an hour and a half every time. I gotta go to bed. I got places to be, and I got boners to rub. You guys gotta get with the program. There's too many cock asses. Cock asses in the chat. But anyway, as far as Handy Andy goes, first of all, I'm gonna strangle that fucker. I don't like Handy Andy the next bit. I don't know where the fuck Nukem 5-6 freak show, but I really don't want no fucking Handy Andy. Right? Okay? He's butt-toothed, he got 4 eyes, and he fucking stinks. He smells like fucking sour cabbage farts. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that little piece of shit. He needs to go. So Nuke, get your hand out of his ass, and it's time to get rid of that buck-tooth bastard. I should be a permanent fixture on this show. I mean, any guy that can talk for more than 30 seconds with a voice like this deserves a bit more playtime. You know what I'm saying? I sound like somebody swallowed raisins. But that's okay, because I am razor sharp. I bring the heat before I beat my meat, baby. That's how we roll.
I don't know how you do it with that voice. I'd be pretty much done in about 5 seconds, I think.
Hey, I knew if I got to give you some compliment. You look like you lost a little weight there, buddy.
I hope I've been losing weight, and I've got a long way to go, man. I'm trying to get back in goal this year, so I've got some serious shit to get done.
Oh, that means you've been eating some good juice lately.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Hockey season is upon me, man. Getting some new gear coming up, and
that wasn't the juice I was talking about.
All right. But guys, amazing show as always. The chat has been dynamite as always. Thank you so much for your love and support. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends. And again, a huge thank you for Sir X-Men coming out. Short notice. I definitely got to get you on as a scheduled guest in the future. But I greatly appreciate
Thanks
you
for
being
jumping
here.
on, man.
Shout out to Jago Kuken, who could be here, obviously having some internet troubles. But you guys were amazing. Mental, as always, glad that you could be here. We missed you last week. Good to have you back in the saddle. Hopefully everything starts to iron itself out. So without any further ado, let's let everybody get out of here. Sir X-Man, let people know where they can catch you hanging out next. It's always good to see you. Hope you're feeling well. And like I said, man, we got to play some games soon. Hit me up.
And I was almost going to join you in a game that I saw you was playing the other day, but I was like, nah, I'm just chilling. But now you'll probably see me on GRG this Friday.
GRG.
Oh, and I'll probably be on Mike Muller's show on tomorrow
night. Nice.
Yeah.
Next Level Gaming Podcast, guys, Tuesday nights.
I got some free time now.
Yeah. That's good. That's good, man.
No, it's not good, but it is what it is.
free time, depending on how you're looking. I wish I had some free time right now. Like, I am just swamped, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to play games, trying to do podcasts, trying to work, trying to get out and ride my motorcycle between everything, man. It's just crazy. And it's real funny. All day today, right? It's absolutely beautiful weather. I'm at work looking at the windows.
And you wanted to go ride.
And I'm looking at I'm like, well, I got a podcast, but regardless, I get home. And guess what happens the moment I get home? Fucking starts to rain. I'm like, every fucking time.
Typical.
Well, I wasn't going out anyway, but it's just the whole point. It always seems to rain right as I get home. You know what I mean?
It's like you can't win for losing.
No, can't win for losing, baby.
Yeah.
That's life.
Mental, obviously, you don't have your own channel, obviously, but where can people catch you in the meantime? At least go over and give him a follow on Twitter.
X.
Oh yeah, X.
I'm not used to that. It seems ridiculous to me. But at Mental9R on X is where you'll find me.
They named it after you, Sir X, man. Did you pay Elon Musk or what?
I don't know what the hell they was thinking about calling it. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't quite get that, and I think they want to change the tweet concept too, or
I think they're losing people.
Could be.
That's what I think.
Yeah, could be.
I was thinking to myself, are they going to go into some like cooperation with Xbox or something at some point? Because that X looks awful lot like the Series X logo. Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's a pretty weird. Whatever. Hey, he's a billionaire. We're not. So apparently, maybe he knows something we don't.
Yeah,
I don't get it, but
he definitely knows this. He's definitely got more money. He got enough money he can wipe his ass with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
5 times over.
Yeah, I'd like to get a couple days worth of interest off of what he has.
Right?
That'd be enough, eh?
Jeez. You
must be nice. Hey, that mean he from Canada too?
Absolutely, eh?
Because I heard
me. I think I said that last week too. Somebody goes, "Oh, news from Canada, all right?" Because he got the A in there.
I knew it.
Yeah, Mental's Canadian too. Yeah, we're trying to add more Canadians to the podcasting scene.
Yeah, don't have me.
There's quite a few of us out there, I think. But,
have me quote South Park.
Yeah, Spider-Man in the chats with Canada, so it's all good. Yeah,
I knew that.
Blame Canada. Did you notice that in the intro? It was funny because Wilmy Hood was on our show last week, and he actually was one of the first to bring it up. He goes, I noticed, Noof, that there's a clip in there that says blame Canada. It's taken from it's a shot from Back for Blood.
Yeah.
And
I do notice sometimes your bottom chain does come attached from your face. I do notice that. The boat.
All right. Anyway, man, go ahead. Mental, obviously, you were letting people know until we interrupted you.
All good. At Mental9R on X. So, yeah, that's real. Find me now. I do have a few things in the works to actually put on YouTube eventually. Now that I've got my rig set up here, I got to get back to editing and see if I can wrap that up finally. It's been a multi-month thing. It's just stretched over and taken a lot longer than I wanted because I didn't get it done before I moved. So, yeah, a few of you might find it interesting. It's potentially a cheaper alternative to the expansion storage that Xbox has, but you still get that speed. So
you should do like a little video where you're sitting in like a wheelchair acting like Professor X or something.
Right.
Man, hook him up to Cerebro on the show.
There you go.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And you know where to find me as always. Always in the gutter, but right back here with these fantastic cast of characters. Hopefully Titan is back in the house next week. Mental will be here as well. And who knows who will be our next guest right here on The Price is Right. No, it's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Hope you're all having a great evening. For those of you catching this on the replay, make sure you leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, and let us know how we're doing. If you're enjoying the show, what you'd like to see improved, the things we could get rid of, all that sort of things. We'll probably get rid of Sir X-Men right now before he falls asleep.
That's what they probably was saying in the chat.
Yeah, get rid of Sir X-Men. No, it's always good to have you, my brother. Thanks for being here. See, we're getting great shows. Gotta go. Thanks, Doggy Dog. You're the real one, baby. Good to see you here, my brother. And but that's it for tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. Thanks
Everyone
again.
Be careful. Have fun.
Cheers, folks.